right, so a couple hours ago, I was hit with some pretty shocking news, thanks to this man sitting next to me, that the Tri-City Rush will actually be ceasing operations after winning back-to-back championships in the AWFC. So, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, my special guest of the evening? And
Appreciate you, Shady, for having me, man. I didn't know who to go to with the info to other than yourself. Once it came to my place, so yeah, I'm the game day operations DJ, hype man, extension of the fans for the Rush, for 2 years, both seasons, or actually, well, I think 3 seasons, right? Yeah, 3 seasons, and two championship years, and great times and all that good stuff. And then we got hit today with, just I was just telling you before the show. Just getting ready to get right back into the swing of things. They got tryouts getting booked and things like that, and then getting schedules ready to go. And all of a sudden, an email came, and it said that no longer will the Rush be an organization. So here we are. What do we do?
Exactly. So it's kind of a shocking news. Like I said, this team was, from the outside looking in, one of the best in the league. I mean, it looked like they were poised to once again run the tables this season. I mean, they were starting to sign players, get prepared for the 2023 season, and it looked like they had a lot of solid guys coming in, including one of the guys I was about to speak with, Marquise Everhart, the quarterback, as well as, they brought back Jamie Council and a couple other people. But with
Right.
this being said, I mean, we talked about it off camera. I mean, this opens up a lot of questions about the AWFC as a whole, because now all of a sudden there's only 3 teams left. I mean, what do they do? I mean, do they maybe go call up a guy like, in the CIF and possibly, try to work out some games with them, given that they have a 7-team league? I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how they pursue games going forward.
It's been real interesting already, seeing how the 3 seasons have went. There's been a lot of ups and downs and questions and things like that, but I'm really surprised, man. I haven't been able to talk to Tate down there for the Rush. I haven't been able to get with him yet, but I mean, such a great owner, such a great organization to be a part of. This was, like we said, this is the last organization that we thought would have had to break this news to their fan base, to their city. And so when it comes down to that, the future for the AWFC, I mean, we had a lot of star power. The star power relied with you, sat with us, and a lot of those players, congrats to all of them and all those guys that brought two big trophies to the Tri Cities. They're moving on. You know what I'm saying? But the organization, they're who knows what's going to happen with the league and the organization and all that. But just happy for these guys that get to go on and move on to the CIF and maybe even XFL and all those good things in the future. The league, I don't know, man. The league's going to be tough without the Rush. We were the star power of that league, and the product we put on the field was, as you can tell, undefeated.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, obviously there's some other teams in the league that were really solid towards the end of the year. I mean, with Wenatchee Valley, with Lorenz Stefan was kicking some ass there at the end of the season. I mean, Lorenz is now currently with Topeka Tropics. They've got a new quarterback, so there could be some chemistry issues there. But I mean, either way, it's going to be an interesting season, especially because I think this hit the league out of left field as well. I don't think they were prepared for this in any stretch.
Not even not even former players, not even some people that are in my inbox right now as we speak, didn't know what was going on, didn't have any idea this was even in the waves, in the wind, anything like that. I know there were some issues with venue issues or questions about venue and all that good stuff earlier in the off season. That guy smoothed out, no problem. Tate's a good guy. I'm sure he did everything he had to bust his ass to get it all figured out. And but I'm not the owner of the league. I've never done that before. Who knows what it takes? I know that it's not, it's a full-time gig, and it's not cheap. So, we had the fan support when Tri-Cities and Pasco and everybody. Thank you so much. But apparently there was other things underlying that, maybe kind of derailed the train, and that sucks. It really sucks.
Absolutely. So I was able to get a quote from Chris Reynolds, the kind of ringleader of the AWFC. He said, "Yes, it's an unfortunate situation that we just learning about. Building and maintaining a team is hard work, and teams need to obtain the ongoing support of the community. Brandon has done a great job building a championship caliber team, but has had a tough time to get the support he needed to go forward. He started with an uphill battle due to the Tri-City Fire's sudden departure. We thought he could make it past the negativity since build, so meshing good with the community. As far as for the league, we'll continue to move forward towards the 2023 season, and we'll have some updates as they come in.
Well, there you have it. He's the man of the hour. He's like you said, he's the ringleader. He's the guy. So if he says the league will go on, the league will go on, I guess. It's hard to hear some of those things, though. I'll be honest with you, because Tate busted his ass. Brandon, the whole organization from our volunteers on every game day to everybody behind the scenes, to the mascot, to the executives that went out to get the sponsors and all those good things. The sponsors were there. The community loved it, and the community is definitely going to miss it. And I think that it's going to be a hit to Pasco for the summer, at least, once they realize that there is no Saturday night entertainment when it comes to arena football.
I would agree, and it's going to be kind of interesting if hopefully the AWFC can still tap that market somehow. Try and draw the fans to another team and in that area. Because I mean, when it comes to arena football, I mean, maybe you can fill me in on some teams that I'm not aware of, but I don't know of any other leagues up in that direction.
No, there really isn't anything. The Spokane, they folded, shortly after saying they were going to be a team again, for I think the AFL, or IFL. But other than that, there's nothing else left. There's nothing else left up here in the Northwest. It's a market that doesn't get a whole lot of love. The teams are pretty spread apart. I mean, we hours and hours of driving for both sides. To get these teams to the venues to play these games all year. We had one of our staffing vans get in a car wreck. Going back and forth to a game on a night. But they didn't waver. So it's just it's a lot of travel. Expenses are high, I'm sure, but there's nothing close to each other. Even Pasco and Wenatchee are 3.5 hours away. So Oregon and Tri-Cities are 2.5 hours away. Things like that. So who knows what's going to happen? Last year there was a San Diego team that was supposed to be part of the league that never made it, and then there was I think an Oakland team or a Bay Area team that was supposed to be part of the league as well. Who knows? Maybe they can revitalize those teams and somehow work a deal to bring them into the league. And I don't know, man. I don't know. It's gonna be interesting. The AWFC has been a wild league. It's been an up and down ride. I was part of the Fire too, and so when Brandon brought me on to the Rush, I'm definitely blessed to be part of the team. Bend over backwards anything I could do to help him. But it's definitely been an up and down ride. You know what I'm saying? It's been a roller coaster. Sometimes without a seatbelt, just holding on for dear life to see what happens next. But this is definitely a hit. It's a hit to my heart, man.
Absolutely. I can only imagine. I mean, you've invested several years in this organization. I mean, like you said, you may not necessarily be a player, but you were there on every game night as far as, trying to hype up the crowd and get them involved, which is a big deal. I mean, it really is, especially in the arena game. If you don't have crowd support, it's a big deal. It really is. I mean, home field advantage obviously was a big reason why Tri-City was so good this past season. We already talked about Wenatchee Valley kind of being a travel team for a while there. So, I mean, it obviously was a huge advantage. So, I mean, it's one of those things where it's just, like I said, very shocking to see. I feel for Coach Tate. I feel like he probably is hurting right now to have to announce this. And, he's probably not responding to a lot of people, including myself right now, because he's got a lot on his mind and a lot on his plate with everything going on now with that.
Of course.
So, I mean, it's got to be a tough situation for him. I wish him the best in his future endeavors. I hope he continues coaching because I truly believe he's one of the best in the game, as well as like the rest of the guys in this organization. Alec Hostler, I believe he deserves a job somewhere in another team.
Definitely.
Recruiting. All these other players that are playing there, whether we're talking about, I could name so many guys. I'm not even going to begin to get into it, but I mean, yeah,
right.
Terrible to see. But ultimately, get into your thoughts. I mean, obviously, you've probably known this guy as far as Coach Tate for so long that you know him a lot better than I do. I mean, what do you think his thoughts were, and how far do you think he went to try and keep the Rush afloat?
To the end of this flat Earth and back. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you think, I'm sure that Brandon did everything he could in his power. Him and Danny as well. You know, Danny Engel was our GM. You know, for this last season, and they both worked their butts off. They both have real lives too, man. You know, they both have real jobs, real families, all outside of this too. So, I mean, to look out for them, and then also try to look out for basically, a squad of 50 people basically when it comes down to everybody, when it comes down to our announcer and me and all the players, and then trying to manage places to stay and give these some of these guys jobs and do all these things that he was kind of a part of in a roundabout way. I'm sure that he went to the deepest, darkest pits of his body to figure out what he needed to do to keep this going. But he also probably had to go there and bring out the realness of it when it wasn't gonna be what it was. We've all seen, if you follow the team, we've all seen that they've had some signings recently. And just like you talked about QB1, so having to do that and still try to manage the fact that maybe we can have a team, and then kind of just having to chop the block in the middle of it, I can't even imagine. It's like cutting off one of your legs. You work your tail off to build something, and damn, they did a good job, man. They did a great job with it, and Tri City should be proud.
Definitely. I love what you said there. I mean, I totally agree. I think everybody involved in that organization should be very proud of themselves. The AWFC should be proud of themselves as well. I mean, you don't bring that talent to the league without a league to draw it to. So, I mean, with
Right.
that being said, let's talk about some of the comments here. We got Kevin Simmons, former Tri City Rush, current Salina Liberty member. Sucks for the players and for Tate. It definitely does.
No doubt. What
Debbie
up, Kevin?
Debbie Witt, Kevin, it does suck. We really miss the players in the games. Jesus Solis, love all our Rush family. It was an awesome ride. So yeah, I mean, obviously you can tell these people were very invested in this organization. Whether it was players, coaches, yourself. I mean, everybody involved. I mean, obviously anytime you're a part of a team, you want them to succeed. Even probably long after you leave, you want to leave them in better shape than you came into them for. So I mean, this has got to hurt everybody who was involved in building it up to what it was. And I really, from the bottom of my heart, I feel for all of you guys, because there's a lot of players right now wondering what they need, what their next move is going to be. And a lot of guys that were just signed, like we were talking about, that have just gotten the opportunity to maybe start their professional career, or so they thought, and now things are kind of falling apart right at the last second here. So it's really disappointing to see. Like I said, I wish everybody the best. Ultimately, yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see what happens in the AWFC in 2023.
Yep, can't wait to see what happens. I really can. I can't wait to see some of these players move on, man. So fun to watch. Come on, we have the best offense in the league. Let's be real. We high-powered offenses. Lots of passing yards, lots of touchdowns. They're going to take all those skills somewhere else as well. I can't wait to see all that happen too. So I miss my guys, man. What up, Steve Kelly? I see you too, brother. And you know, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting, man. Thanks for having me, JD. I appreciate you.
Absolutely. Thank you for filling me in when it happened. I mean, like I said, I really appreciate that respect. And I mean, there was a couple other people who reached out shortly after you did. So, I mean, so everybody who reached out to me, I appreciate that you guys are keeping me in the loop. I mean, I was never a part of the Tri-City Rush organization, but I've talked to so many of you guys for so long at this point that I feel like you guys kind of accepted me in the family. And that was an awesome feeling today when you guys all hit me up, because it was you, it was Kevin. There's several other people that were immediately like, hey, have you heard about this? What's going on? I talked to a couple other guys to try and, get third party confirmation to make sure this was in fact the truth. And it's just amazing to see. And it's really sad. Speaking of which, one of the guys that just signed, Just signed my first pro contract with Tri-City at only 24 years old. If anyone needs a wide receiver, all I need is a chance. So that is Maurice S.U. Ashley on Facebook. Maurice, he says he has a bunch of film. Okay, Maurice, tell you what, man, you're obviously watching on Facebook. You've probably seen this on my profile. Message me with your film. I'll try and get it to whoever I possibly can. I would also encourage you to check out the Oregon High Desert Storm, who are looking for players currently. So I believe the coach's name is Chuck Jones. I apologize, Coach, if I'm misnaming you there. But yeah, he's definitely still looking currently. So definitely reach out to him. He is also on Facebook as well. So definitely.
He's only one of the many, man. You know what I'm saying? And that's the unfortunate thing about it is Tri-City's gonna miss out on so much of this talent. Now, you know what I'm saying? Like we had guys that came to be standouts. Day, Marcus Garcia. We had all these guys that came out to be crazy standouts and exciting players to watch. And they're gonna move on. And we had a whole nother batch of players moving in, and they were just gonna be just as exciting too. So.
Exactly. Kevin says also check out Wenatchee Valley. So they're also looking for players. Although I think they're getting pretty close to full last time I talked to Coach Brown, but definitely reach out to him as well. Coach Rico Brown on Facebook as well. So once again, thank you so much for joining me. And once again, thank you for telling me. I mean, I appreciate you dropping by and, giving me this news to break. Unfortunately, we were just a couple minutes behind the Facebook post from the team, but that's okay. I mean, at the same time, it was nice to get your insight into the organization and kind of talk about it and kind of give it like a nice send off. You know what I mean? Rather than talking about it in a bad manner or anything like that.
Definitely, man. This organization brought me in like I hadn't been part of the previous organization, because they could have just washed their hands of the previous organization. But they brought me in, and everybody showed me massive amounts of love. All the vendors, all the sponsors. I've gotten work from other sponsors since being part of the organization. So I can't thank them enough. So there's no way in hell I would say something bad about Tay or Danny or any of the Rush family.
Absolutely. So with that being said, obviously you're still doing your DJ thing. So where can people find you if they want to reach out to you to get your services?
If you need a DJ for anything needing a DJ, whether it's a mic or whether it's music or whether it's just kind of background music, anything you need that needs entertainment, you can find me on Facebook, facebook.com/DJ Doughboy NW, all common spellings, and then Instagram, DJ Doughboy NW, YouTube, everything's all the same. You can also find my personal cell phone number on there too as well if you just want to send me a text. Based out of Yakima, but I travel the whole Northwest. Northern Cali to Eastern Montana. So hit me up if you need anything, weddings, parties, graduations, anything like that. Or if you got an organization that needs a game day DJ, hit me up.
There you go. Speaking of which, whatever happened with Yakima Canines? Are they a non-starter this year?
You should just ask the Reynolds brothers, I guess, what happened with the Yakima kids. I don't really know. They were all part of the same thing. Again, I know we beat them 99-1 or 99-0 last year, but either way, they I don't think got to deal with the venue. I think it was the issue this year, so they weren't going to be a part of the organization. But shout out to them too. Shout out to all them guys too.
Gotcha. Norman Roth, another guy that reached out to me to let me know as soon as he knew. Look at that mugshot. So Maurice says, played with Giovanni Sanders and Dre Williams. If you guys are familiar with them, appreciate going to reach out right now. Yeah, I'm very familiar with Giovanni Sanders. In fact, Giovanni Sanders is one of my favorite quarterbacks. I personally think he's going to be quite great in the IFL this season, so check him out. I wrote an article about him recently, actually.
He's one of my favorite rappers right now, too.
I had an awesome time working with the Tri-City Rush as their team chaplain. It was a great experience for me. Rush was my first pro team to work for. So, I mean, no matter who you talk to, you're going to get probably good experiences from the Rush organization. Yeah. So, I mean, it's nice to hear. It's unfortunate to hear that it's ending. I hope all you guys stay in touch with me, with yourselves. I mean, as coworkers and stuff, because obviously there's a lot of camaraderie behind the scenes there. But yeah, definitely, man, I'll let you get out of here. I appreciate your time. Thanks for coming on and talk about this. And again, let me know behind the scenes.
No doubt, no doubt. Rush fans, whose house? Our house. The Hapo Center in Pasco, still our house, baby. Let's go, Shady. Much love. Peace out.
Later, buddy. Have a good night.
Yep.
All right, guys. Once again, that was an interesting conversation. It's so sad to see. My heart goes out to all the Rush players, the guys who just signed, the guys who were, verbally committed to play the 2023 season with the Rush. Debbie Roth says we will miss the Rush game, the players, and the DJ. Yeah, as will I. As will I. I mean, I know I'm fairly new to the scene. I just started covering them right at the end of the last season. But I've created a lot of relationships within that organization with players that are there still who left, went to other organizations, and I have a lot of respect for what Brandon Tate was able to build in a short amount of time. I think he's an unbelievable coach. I think he had winning at heart when he built that organization, and it showed when it was on the field. I personally think that every player will probably land on their feet from this organization. If they want to continue playing, they will find a way to continue playing because Tate went above and beyond, as well as everybody else in that organization. Alec Husser, Danny Engel, all those guys, they know how to build a good team. There's a reason why a lot of these guys are going to the IFL, to the CIF after only one season. We got Javante Johnson, Kevin Simmons, Sedarius Rookard, Chris Oakley. Man, I could go on and on. Josh Davis. I mean, literally that entire roster basically leveled up from last season. So, I mean, it's super encouraging to see what they were able to do. I hope that everybody else that was on the roster now lands on their feet. Again, if you guys need any help sharing out your highlights, needing contacts to find your next stop, let me know. Contact me. Again, make sure you're reaching out to the other coaches in the AWFC. Just because Tri-Cities is gone doesn't mean you can't necessarily go build a juggernaut in Wenatchee Valley or, out there in Oregon High or, whatever it may be in Idaho. If you have to take a trip out to Idaho and play for the Horsemen. No, I mean, one way or another, I think there's going to be AWFC football in 2023, as Chris Reynolds said. So with that being said, I'm going to hop off here. I hope you guys have a great night. Once again, my heart goes out to the Rush organization, and I wish you all the best. It's been a lot of fun covering the team. You guys were unbelievable in the short amount of time I got to watch you. And again, I wish you nothing but the best in the future. I hope you stick with me in the future and continue to follow all the Rush players that I continue to follow. And yeah, we'll be bringing them back in the future, and I will probably be following this very closely and trying to bring on some people from the Rush organization in the future as well. So if you want to follow along with that, please definitely hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Click that like button. As always, I appreciate all the support. Have a great night.